Welcome to Intuitive Seek. My name is Mary Treen, and every week I aim to bring you a grounded approach to all things intuition. Through personal stories, experiences, and practices, offering energetic reflections to help you discover, connect, and fully realize how your unique power of intuition is your own greatest teacher. Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome to December 2023. How are you doing? How are you feeling? What's on your mind today? What's been on your mind for weeks? I felt like maybe somebody needed that little bit of attention, a little reminder to, pay attention to where your mind is and where it goes. And maybe for the next while, focus on how my words are reminding you of something that maybe you already knew or that you needed to remember. Because these energy impressions, if you've never listened before, they're really meant to guide you, to help you guide yourself through the month ahead. And really, truly take what you need and leave the rest. And I'm excited to dive into these energy impressions so we can all gain a little more clarity and maybe be a bit inspired. But before I fully dive in, I wanted to, just connect with you and let you know, give you a little update, what's been going on. So if you aren't following me on Insight Timer, if you don't have that app, it is a fantastic meditation app. It is free. There is a premium version like most things, but it's a place where you can really create a proper meditation practice. You can track your meditations and you can listen to many of my meditations on there. It's really easy to find. I'll put it in the show notes. But the greatest thing too is that I'm doing live meditations on there. So you can also connect to me through these live events. And it's so fun. And I've had just the most fun time doing them. And it has just been, such a pleasure to kind of connect with you in this different way. So if you haven't, if you're listening to my voice and you haven't, check it out. I don't have any kind of like affiliation for signing up or anything like that, but my meditations are on there and check it out in the show notes, see what you think. But as you know, if you have heard this podcast before, meditation is very, very important to me. And one of the most integral parts of reconnecting, reclaiming, and remembering your energy, your intuition, your gifts, your talents, your purpose, your destiny, all the things. Meditation is so key to connecting to the ease of that for yourself, to that natural way that you're able to connect. And if you haven't been able to create like a good, solid, like committed meditation practice, then check it out. But of course, I have so many meditations on this podcast too. So also you can just go to the podcast feed and create a nice little practice for yourself. But the one thing I love about Insight Timer is that it has a way for you to track it yourself there. And they help you track it. So they make it really easy, which is always the best because whatever can make our lives a little bit easier is always helpful. And the other thing I wanted to mention was to please make sure that you're signed up for my email list because I have a lot of new things coming in the new year. And I hope that you get those emails. So please sign up. I don't spam you with info. I would never sell your info to anyone. It's just for connecting to Dreamlight Healing and me, and making sure that you are always the first to know for all of the offerings that I have to offer to you. So, yes, check the show notes, sign up, and yeah, I'm excited for a lot of new things coming up. And if you haven't had a chance to book with me, I would recommend for December to look at my intuitive distance energy healings to my remote sessions because they're really popular right now. I I feel like because they are easy to kind of put into your schedule, you get to receive from the comfort of your home, and it's a really beautiful healing experience that is hard to describe if you haven't done it before. But if you've been feeling called to, check it out. And they're really for you if you want to feel more calm and more relaxed in your nervous system and in your mind and your body. If you're new to any kind of intuitive guidance and energy healing, this is a great way to start. Very grounded and very easeful. And if you do feel like you need a little support in relief of maybe some tension or pain in your body, it really has helped many clients with that too. And if you have been like really getting those little calls, little whispers from within of, wow, you are overdue for some focused self care, but it has been very difficult for you to make that time. Yeah, this is a very good thing for you to do for yourself. And especially if you have been and will be for the month, perhaps really giving to everyone, but not so much yourself. If you've been feeling kind of maybe a little off lately, but you can't really put your finger on it, this is really helpful for that. So, yeah, if you have been feeling like, yes, I I need a little tune up. I need some focused care. I would love to relax and receive and kind of experience this very natural but magical type of distance energy healing. Then, yes, check the show notes and book with me because this is the time. It really does feel like that. Like this time of year, that's why they're more popular. People are busy and yeah, they're kind of that like secret support system that you can reach out and book for yourself and then feel more prepared and grounded and definitely have more clarity so that you can really move through the month or into the new year with a much more supported, solid foundation of your energy. And I hope that you are feeling well today. And if you're not, that's okay too. I hope that you are being gentle on yourself and remembering that this has been a year for many of us, a year of exploration through so much unknown, kind of that liminal void space. But for like the whole year, it almost feels like that. And that is not easy. But what it has done for us is it has helped us remember and know what we need to feel more supported, what we need to make it through those true ebbs and flows that so many of us have experienced. And if that's you, yes, I know it has been a hard year, but there's also been so many beautiful parts. And isn't that just what life is? So it really does feel like this year has been reminding us that life is truly that cliche of there is no certainty except for change. And on a personal note, I did want to ask something. If you have the space, if you have the time, I would really appreciate if you could send prayers, good vibes, good energy, all the goodness to me, but especially my family. Without going into details, my family is experiencing some pretty serious health issues, and I would appreciate it deeply and so much if you could just take a moment after this podcast and just send your prayers, your blessings, yeah, all the goodness, whatever resonates with you. If you could send it my way to my family, I would appreciate it. And we would appreciate it so much because I know it helps and it may seem like a small thing, but it's not. So if you have the space, if you have the bandwidth, I gratefully receive all that you want to send. So thank you. Okay, so let's connect to December's energy. And just like I said at the beginning, take what you need, leave the rest. These are really meant to ignite your own intuition, connect to your own guidance, and yeah, help us move through the month with a little more clarity. And if my voice sounds maybe a little, I mean, hopefully it doesn't sound strained, but I have been talking a lot more than usual, so that is why. So bear with me if it does sound a little quieter or maybe a little bit more raspy, but sometimes that's nice to listen to. So I'm leaning into it. I'm okay with it. So yes, let's dive in to December. Let's dive into December 2023. Like, where did the year go? Right? It's so crazy because so much happened this year, but it really flew by in such a massive way. Yeah, it's hard for me to wrap my head around. So, when I felt into December, I really took my time because I have been busier. I've had a lot kind of going on in personal and business and all the other things. So I wanted to make sure that I was really kind of getting that clarity that can help us remember what we needed to know for the month ahead. So when I first really felt in, there were three words. Three words came for the month, and they are insight, preparation, and relaxation. And those all felt really interesting to me. And the more I kind of felt into them, they really made a lot of sense for the month ahead. Because, like I was saying, this year has really been a year of exploration. And that can be exploration physically, but also figuratively, exploring within, exploring yourself, exploring others around you, your relationships, like really connecting to what happens when we move through so much time that feels like so much is unknown. And in December, it may be really helpful to carve out time for insights. How insightful can you be with yourself, with others? And what does that really mean? Well, what are you valuing in your life that may seem more important than it actually is? Because the definition of insight is, as you could guess, looking within, having the eyes of your mind, your mental vision, seeing with them, understanding from within. And being insightful can also be described as understanding something much more deeply, but understanding your hidden nature more deeply, or your character. So, can you be more clear in December? Can you have more clarity around what maybe parts, facets of your hidden nature are? How would you even describe your character? Do you really share it? Is it something that you know right away? Or is it a little bit more clouded, a little bit more murky? Because being more consciously insightful with aspects of your life that maybe you aren't normally, this feels like it's really helping us prepare for 2024. So, being really insightful about when you feel obligated to maybe do or say or join something. Is it true to who you are, to your true nature, to your true character? Or is it the character that you want to be seen as, or that you would love to be, but maybe it's not really you? And maybe it really is about being more aligned. When we're more insightful, when we understand our nature, our character, that alignment, that is kind of a buzzword in a lot of spiritual circles, a lot of intuitive work. Are you aligned? Are we aligned? Is it aligned for you? Maybe like the grounded way of thinking about that is to remember what alignment really means, what it really means for you. And to know what it is, to know what's aligned, means that we really need to be very insightful within, but also outside of ourselves. Because really, the point I feel is that in December, we can remember that feeling and being aligned in ourselves, in our actions, that will allow us to be grounded and clear in how we treat ourselves and how we treat others. And to really help us not keep expectations, waiting for expectations to be fulfilled. Because that is the fast track to disappointment immediately, and to really lose focus or track of ourselves when we put so much on expectation. And that can happen when we don't know who we are. So in December, being honest with ourselves and not pretending that we know something, not, quote unquote, faking it till we make it. No, this is not the month for that. Not making promises that we can't keep. And that might be hard because in the holiday season, we tend to have more invitations to do things. We tend to get asked to do things much more than throughout the rest of the year. And that is a great opportunity to make sure that we're being honest with ourselves, that we're being insightful, that we're using our eyes to look within and make sure that what we're doing is in alignment with our nature and our character, so that we aren't completely off track moving into the new year. And that brings us to another theme, the second word, preparation. And preparation may feel like a lot sometimes, like, oh, why do I have to prepare more? No, might feel like a burden. But the energy of this kind of preparation for December feels more like a call to zoom out, to gain some perspective, to become more prepared by being more consciously insightful, just like we were talking about. Because it really feels like the worst thing that we can do this month is to make assumptions. Assumptions about anything in your life. And being insightful really allows us to know when we are acting on assumptions, not on what is truly happening. And this month may feel like, well, the year is basically over, and what more can I do? And this is already happening, and they're already doing this, and I'm not getting this from them, and they don't want that. So many different ways to kind of get tangled in assumptions. But when we zoom out, we can really untangle all of those assumptions. We can release them and we can see, oh, maybe we're actually more prepared for what we want to do and what we're going to do. Maybe we're more prepared than we thought. So, like, where in your life can you zoom out? Where are you looking way too closely? Where are you even having maybe some blinders on? And one way to do that energetically is to kind of close your eyes and just do like a soft scan of a kind of traditional day in your life and see what part of that day you don't really want to do. What part of that day makes you confused or like maybe a little anxious or, yeah, creates a bit of unease. And can you zoom out? And can you see the bigger picture around that thing that is causing a bit of unease in your body? Can you see how maybe that situation is actually helping you prepare for something? Because this would be the month that maybe you're shown that when you do shift your perspective. And then that brings us to the final word of the impressions, relaxation. And to anyone that instantly gets kind of annoyed or frustrated by even the word relaxation, then this word is especially meaningful for you for December. And it doesn't necessarily feel like resting fully at a stop. For some of us, maybe. But the way the relaxation is feeling for December, it's more about relaxing into ourself, relaxing into our circumstances, relaxing into whether it's really kind of easy and fluid and smooth right now for you, or maybe it's more difficult and challenging. How can you relax into it? Stop fighting what's happening in your life. How can you accept it more so you can feel more relaxed? Because it's those moments in December when we feel like we want something to be so different, or it's not what we wanted, or that's not what we wanted them to do, or we wanted them to see something the way we see it, or they don't understand, or why isn't this working out? Why isn't that happening? Why didn't it work out this way? Why is it taking so long? No, in December, if that happens, if you get that kind of flurry spiral of energy that manifests that way, that's when we have to remember to relax. It sounds so simple, but it is so difficult sometimes. That's when we need to relax, to relax, to relax, to relax back into our energy, to remember our energy, remember who we are, what our energy feels like, but also the most important, what do you need to feel more relaxed in yourself? Because that relaxation will ripple out and help other people around you, your family, your friends, your coworkers. How can you be more relaxed in yourself, even when everything around you is not working out the way you want it to, and nothing is really staying the way you need it, and everything's uncertain, and the year is coming to a close so quickly? How can you relax? Because we are at the end of a journey over the year, coming towards the end, but the new year has not begun yet. So how can we relax so we're not bracing? So we're not bracing ourselves, wondering, oh no, what else is going to happen? What is the new year going to bring? What is going to, no. What can we do to relax in our energy? Because when we're relaxed, we have more clarity, we think more clearly, we feel more clearly, we speak more clearly. It's a win for all of us, for everyone around us. So what do you need to feel more relaxed? And there's a lot of maybe more obvious ways of relaxing in yourself, relaxing into yourself and your energy by grounding your energy, by creating a practice of that, by doing that once a day, if possible. Maybe a gratitude list in the morning, maybe morning pages like the artist's way, where you're really just kind of getting everything out of your mind, clutter free, so that you can feel more clear. Maybe it's connecting to people, because last month was about connection. So maybe it's continuing with that, connecting with friends and family that you want to connect with, but maybe haven't made the time for. Maybe that will help you relax in yourself. But one way that might not be as obvious is paying attention to all the whispers and the winks and the signs, all the things from the universe or God, however you like to see it. Those moments of synchronicity, those meaningful coincidences. I'll share one that I had just recently. One of my favorite movies is Contact, 1997, Jodie Foster, Matthew McConaughey, written by Carl Sagan and his wife. Beautiful, deeply spiritual, philosophical, such a great movie. It's one of my favorites. But I didn't know that Carl Sagan and his wife wrote it. Maybe you didn't know that. They wrote it as a screenplay in the 70s. Nobody wanted to make it, so then they wrote a book. And then that book got optioned into a movie later in the late 80s, 90s, and then Jodie Foster helped to make it. But I had only just realized that because I wanted to watch it again. I always watch it at least once a year. And then I looked it up because I thought, wait, Carl Sagan wrote this, right? And then I read that story. Well, the very next day, I'm listening to a podcast, and the guest says, well, one of my favorite books is by Carl Sagan and his wife, and it's Contact. And I share that one because what does that mean? Well, to me, it's a little wink. It's a little whisper. It's a little, okay, I'm on the right track. So one way that you may want to try in December to feel more relaxed in yourself and in your circumstances is to keep track of all of those meaningful coincidences, those little signs, the synchronicities. Some people call them klidons because in ancient Greece, I believe, they used to call to the gods. I need advice. I need guidance. And then they would go into the market, into their day, and they would wait for the gods at the time to speak through an innocent person a stranger, tell them the guidance they needed through an unknown source. They would look for the signs, but they'd really be a kind of an active participant. So in December, kind of look for that magic. Look for those meaningful coincidences, those signs, but also write them down. Make little notes. Make some notes in your phone. Put a little notebook in your bag or near your bed and write down what may have happened that day. Because it doesn't matter what it means. When you start to see and really focus on all of those little bits of, well, why did that happen? That's funny. Oh, that's interesting. That can really help you feel more relaxed. Because all of a sudden, there's more magic around you. All of a sudden, when you really keep track of them, you realize how much life is with you. So I hope that kind of helps to inspire some of you to do that, because it really does. It really does shift a lot when you do start paying attention. And yeah, it doesn't matter if it's real or any of like the depth of digging into what it means. Like, do that if it feels right to you. But really, it's just about noticing them and realizing how much it happens and how supported you are. So in December, gather those winks and those whispers, however you want to. And whether they're from God or the universe, however you see it. But gather your insights. Prepare your perspective by staying open, keeping your view open, relaxing into yourself, paying attention to when you're not relaxed and when you're maybe bracing, and caring for yourself. And if you like to answer the intuitive journal prompts, intuitive questions that I offer, if you want to set aside some time and answer these to really help yourself connect more to what you need and what you want and what you are going to be moving through for the month, how can you gain more clarity around your energy for the month ahead? Here are some intuitive questions that you can answer. So the first one would be, describe how this year, 2023, has prepared you for the future. Good, bad, and ugly, as they say. All the things. Just really trust what comes to mind. How has this year prepared you in a deeper way for the future? And then the second thing is a little bit more visualization, more image-based. And it would be to take a moment and use your insight, your mental eyes to look within and really detail in maybe an abstract way. Don't overthink it. Like, really let yourself just answer and detail what is happening within. What are you seeing? What is waiting to be discovered? And then the third question is, how would being more relaxed with yourself on a consistent basis change your life? And again, allow yourself to answer them so honestly, so abstractly if needed. Like, try not to make sense. Just see what comes. Try not to judge it. Really use them to connect with yourself and connect to what you need to know for this beautiful month ahead that is going to be that bridge between now and January, the new year, 2024. This is the month to feel how prepared you really are. So I hope that some of that resonated with you and really helped you feel a little bit more clarity in your life. And thank you so much for listening to this episode of Intuitive Seek. I would love to hear if you resonated with the energy I'm feeling and moving through for December. If you have any thoughts or questions or anything you want to share, please don't hesitate to send me a message. You can send it to me through my Instagram at dreamlight.healing or on my website, dreamlight.com. And go to the show notes where you can find my insight timer page, listen to my meditations there. You can also find all of the links for my one-on-one and distance healing remote sessions as well. And if you haven't already, hugely appreciated if you follow wherever you get your podcasts. And if you feel called to give some support, then please share this episode with a friend or leave a review. So thank you so much again. Be kind to yourself, and I'll talk to you soon.
I want to, Mary. I just wanted to say something very, very meaningful.